Kabre, President,
Recording in progress.
Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central, welcoming you all on behalf of Rotary District 3190 vocational team, uh, which is organizing this Jnana Vaividya 2.0, the second edition of this program, which we conceived and began last year. Now, the topic today is something which is very, very need of the day, I would say, uh, because all of us, we utilize various cleaners, which we are not sure whether they are safe for our body, for our skin. And today's speaker, Smita Kamath, is going to tell us more about all these natural cleaners to keep us safe during this pandemic times, right? So I would like to give a special welcome to her,
Thank
um,
you.
and also a special welcome to our chief guest, Rotin Ramesh Shivanna, who's going to do the Vocational Service Excellence Award for her. We have the agenda flow on the screen in front of you. I would like to acknowledge the support of all the guest clubs, almost 12 of them today, supporting us and enabling us to take this Jnana Vaividya series far and wide, not just amongst Rotarians, but amongst all the friends of Rotary and everyone whom it can benefit. So before we get into the speaker introduction, I will just take a minute to explain to you what all activities does the vocational service team at Rotary District 3190 do. So the vocational service avenue is team of people. We call ourselves people of action serving the community under various verticals as you see on the screen, starting from integrity and ethics, career guidance and counseling, skill development, entrepreneurship and micro enterprises, vocational training teams, Rotary action groups, vocational diversity and awards, and of course, meant for Rotarians for both business development and professional advancement. I mean, the whole objective here is to enable, to be an enabler for this community surrounding us and ensure that there is a clear vocational advancement with respect to any vocation that they are in. So, with that small note, I would now invite our star Rotarian Smita to do the introduction for the speaker of today. Over to you, Smita.
Thank you. So it is Smita introducing Smita. um, so I know Smita for quite some years now, and we both are in similar circles. I am known as Waste Smita, and she's known as Bioenzyme Smita. So she's completely focused on health, and I'm completely focused on waste. But in fact, we are both two sides of the same coin. What is good for the environment is automatically good for health, and what is good for environment and health is usually good for the pocket as well. So it's my pleasure to introduce Smita Kamath to you. She is the founding director of Pranapurna Collective, that is reviving natural products and mainstreaming sustainable chemical-free lifestyle through the products that they develop. So they take actually waste things like citrus waste and all that and convert into cleaners. So when you hear 100 नींबुओं की शक्ति वाला wheel, why not actually take the nimbu? So things like that, and she's striving to kind of reduce the chemical footprint in our everyday lives. She's experimenting with circular economy, zero landfill product lifestyle, and handcrafted local production and consumption of natural alternates using community production model through Pranapurna Collective. The tipping point for her came with a workshop on exploring sustainable future in Auroville in 2011. When the workshop was practical and explored sustainability with a focus on water harvesting, wastewater treatment, food, health, wellness, every aspect of our life. It also included the inner dimension. It was a transformative experience that brought all her questions, experiences, and inner yearnings together, resulting in spiritual and metaphysical growth, giving a new direction to her life. Instead of planning for the next moment, she started living in the present moment and observing every process or experience she underwent. Welcome, Smita. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you very much for having me on this platform. It's a pleasure to share our experiments and how we can collaborate going forward. Thank you.
So, Smita, you would be able to share your screen or presentation?
Yes, I will be starting with that.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, we request all members to kindly mute themselves other than the speaker. If you have any questions, you can type in the chat box. Smita will be answering that after the session.
Yeah, so we will be covering about the natural cleaners that we can produce. One is, I will also be covering about the do-it-yourself process, where each one of us can make it easily with the locally available raw materials. And Pranapurna Collective is right now focusing on reviving most of the traditionally used products. So because of that, the raw material is abundantly available in all parts of India. So the process that we have tried to adopt and, to mainstream and to look at an industrial level of production with the community model is what I'll be sharing with you today. So currently it was not like a design that we wanted to create disinfectants, but we just realized that when we started looking at non-chemical natural ingredients to be used, and then when we submitted it for lab tests, we realized that it had a great disinfectant property as well. And that was how we started preparing the entire set of the home cleaners, the mosquito repellents for clean air. Then all our sewage water today is actually whatever you flush down is going and entering the water bodies. And most of this water, which it goes into the lakes or the rivers, are being reused for our food, growing our food. And it all, even the city water for Bangalore comes way downstream the Kaveri after the wastewater goes and joins the river. And this for me was very disturbing because it was never in our history that our elders did the mixing of wastewater with the drinking source. But we are doing that. And this was when we started looking at least let us start looking at switching what we are pouring into the toilet bowls. So what enters the sewage, if we can start shifting small drops, we can look at least our own contribution in the chemicals can be shifted. And then for me personally, the big problem was my own daughter's skin allergies. Then we had to shift our entire lifestyle. This started almost in 2000. And it was almost for 10 years that I was searching for a solution. So then we looked at switching from foods. There were a lot of foods that were allergic to her. Then whatever we use as daily, your shampoos to your skin creams. Within 1 minute, this can enter the bloodstream. Even the cleaners and the sprays that you use in your living spaces, within 1 minute, you can ingest it through your lungs. It can enter your bloodstream. And this is not easy for our body to digest or filter it out of the system. And that is when it gets logged into the inner organs. And that is when we realized most of the filtration mechanism doesn't work. And that is when it tries to throw it out. It tries to throw it out of the skin. And that is when the skin allergies increase. So this understanding was what got me into really looking at how can we replace all the chemicals that we use in our daily lives. So one was, it is easy to stop using, but we need these conveniences. We need to clean and maintain our own health as well. So today, I think the bigger pandemic that is looming behind the scenes is the antimicrobial resistance, which we are seeing as secondary infections that people are getting from the hospitals. And this is where the bacteria, the viruses, the germs are becoming more resistant to antibiotics and the disinfectants that are being used. So these are all called the biocides. So these are the adverse impact on our health. Then when all this goes back into the wastewater, into the water bodies, it also affects the microorganisms to the organisms living in the water. So we are not only contaminating our own living spaces, we are also contaminating the wastewater. And this is overall impact on the biodiversity of Earth as well. So when we looked at deeper into this science, we realized how does our immunity really happen? So we are actually a combination of multiple species of microorganisms, and these are what are the good microorganisms. Most of them are in our gut, and this is what help us in our digestion and help us absorb the nutrients from the food that we eat. And these are very much required for us to be healthy. And these microorganisms come to us, one is it's already present in our gut, and it comes to us when we are born from the mother's womb. And most of us who have had a natural birth, we actually imbibe most of these natural microorganisms. And the second part comes from the food that we eat. So it is very important that the food that we eat is grown without chemicals. That is when most microorganisms from the soil can naturally get into the fruits and the vegetables that we eat and get into our food system itself. Then the water that we drink. So because of the overfiltration, our system assumption is we have to kill everything. So the antibiotics that we take also looks at killing everything. So of course it kills both the good and the bad microbes. Now, where is the good microbes going to come back from? So I think even the allopathic treatment today has, after your antibiotic treatment, they come back with, how to increase your gut microbes. There is another set of medication that they are giving. So this is something that we can ourselves look at how we can reduce the toxic overload in our own systems, in our lifestyles, and look at improving our immunity. And the more diverse foods that you eat, it becomes, you need all those enzymes for our well-being. So this, we try to do all 100% natural products, and citrus peel bioenzymes is what we started making. This is a fermentation process. I will cover the process in the next few slides. This is extract of natural citrus peel acids. And we use soap nuts. Soap nuts, most of you might be aware, has a lot of lather. These are berries that grow on trees. And if any one of you have seen, one tree can yield almost 30 to 40 kg of soap nuts in a year. It's once a year crop. And most people in the coastal areas had one tree in their backyard, and that was sufficient for their entire soap needs for the whole year for a family of 4. So we are looking at planting more of these trees around. It's already available, and currently the source is mostly from the forests of, so we only use, there are 2 types of species. The Himalayan species is different. We use mostly the South Indian because we want to promote the local sourcing so that transportation can be reduced. So in the process, we can make completely 100% eco-friendly and 100% natural origin raw materials can be used for this. And this is also creating an effective microorganism culture. And the microorganism comes from the jaggery, which is added to the peels in the proportion of 1:3:10. I'll cover that shortly. And when this enters the wastewater, it is completely biodegradable. This wastewater can enter the garden for your plants as well, because it's already in a diluted form. And we are also trying to see, if you make it yourself, the cost of producing this is going to be lesser than 20 rupees, which can easily replace the soap oils and the acids that most of the economically weaker sections use. So, and it becomes very affordable for you as well, in terms of, if you can make these disinfectants yourself, you can save packaging, and your wastewater is also can be reused. So we also try to incorporate this as a handcrafted process rather than looking at machinery, so that livelihoods can be increased. It more or less works out the same in terms of the production cost. And these enzymes clean and disinfect. and it's completely safe for kids and pets. And when this goes back into the soil, there is no process waste as well. So all the leftover citrus peels can be reused in the next batch as the mother culture. And even if you want to compost it, it can be added into the dry leaves for composting, and it can be fed into the agricultural land as well for more of your food produce. And these are the set of products that we have already created. It didn't happen in one day or 1 year. It took us almost 6 years of personal experimentation. So now we have the entire home cleaner range of floor, toilet, then your laundry detergent, which comes with soap nuts. And there is entire kitchen scrub. So you can replace your utensil wash to your entire chimney cleaning, all your Mr. Muzzle and the sieve, the wipes can also be replaced with this. And most of them are antibacterial as well. Then we also created the hand wash and the shampoo. And all of these are actually cold room temperature process. It doesn't involve much heat. So what we call prana, or the life force of these cleaners, are retained. The natural origin raw material life force is retained. So this actually feeds us the energy. So when we use it, it increases the life force around us. And once this is ready, it has unlimited shelf life. So if you can keep it in airtight containers, it can come for many, many years. And we didn't feel the need to use any preservatives or synthetic surfactants, because the soap nut is a surfactant by itself, but it won't lather a lot like your chemical surfactants, or your synthetic biodegradable surfactants also lather quite a bit. And if you have realized, there is a lot of lake lathering happening, and this is what is cutting off the oxygen from getting into the lake water as well. So all of this can be avoided by switching your cleaners. Yeah, so we also got the lab testing done. So these are the tests that were conducted. The test standards are here. So we did an antiviral, the entire antibacterial. We did it against 6 aureus. And we did the antiviral test as well against the adenovirus. So today, whatever they claim as antiviral disinfectants, none of them have been able to test against the coronavirus. The assumption is bacteria is more difficult to kill, so any antibacterial should work on antiviral is the assumption. They have tested it on the previous corona, the SARS version, but current coronavirus cannot be isolated. So none of those disinfectants or and one is we are looking at a circular economy model here, where we are looking at not only consuming the raw materials that are available, but we are also looking at growing more of these natural raw materials that we may need. So we are also looking at tying up with the locals, farmers, and currently we are already sourcing some of the products from what the tribals collect. And we are looking at these traders from whom we procure some of this. We are looking at a livelihood projects that can be created at the source where the raw materials are available, so that the next level value added products can be added, and then it can be supplied to the local community. So we are trying to look at local production and consumption, which will actually reduce the product from being made in one place and transported a long distance. And this is the process of how you can make it yourself at home. Any citrus peel, there are 4 types you can use: orange, Mosumbi, pineapple, or lemon. Just the skin is sufficient. Even if there is a spoiled fruit, you can use it as long as there is no fungal infection on it. So you have to add 1 part jaggery, 3 parts citrus peel, and 10 parts water. And pinch of yeast if you are starting the process, the accelerator. And all of this need to be kept in a watertight container, airtight container, so that the inside insects don't get in. So most of the time the problem is every day you have to open it to let out the carbon dioxide. But the soldier flies can get in and lay worms, the eggs, and that is what becomes your maggots in a very short span of time. So to avoid that, we need to put it in airtight containers. And you can use the soap nuts either in a combination with these enzymes or by itself. So you can soak about 500 grams of soap nut in 1 liter water overnight in the night. And the next morning, if you're able to mash it into a pulp, you can mash it. If you're not able to, you can even cook it in the pressure cooker for 1 or 2 whistles, and then you'll be able to mash it. And that makes a great shampoo. And for fragrance, you can add a few drops of essential oil. And this 1 handful of soap nuts can meet your need for a family of 4 for 1 day. You can wash your hair, your shampoo, to laundry, to your vessel cleaning. So 1 handful is sufficient. And we also mix the citrus peels and the soap nuts, but that is a more cumbersome process. A simpler process for you to begin with this, and after that you can experiment on your own and come up with n number of combinations. And this becomes addictive after a point in time. Initially, you just need to make a very little time for this. So for example, the citrus bioenzyme itself will probably take you 5 minutes or 10 minutes every day when you're adding the peel. And when it is ready for filtering it, you may take about half an hour. So we do it in bulk in 200-liter drums. So that takes about half an hour for them to get the peel, sort it, and add it. And once in 3 weeks, about 4 hours, to filter 200 liters of the ready bioenzyme. So from an effort point of view, it requires very little effort, but you just have to plan it out and make the space for it. It will need closed environments, cool, dark place. It can be in your bathrooms also, it can be created. So we also started using the wood ash. We source it from the brick kilns, and we are selling it currently as well. So we added either with 10 to 25% soap nut powder can be added to this. And this is again a natural disinfectant, and it makes excellent toilet cleaner to all your bathroom taps. All the steel and the ceramic surfaces will be sparkling clean. There is also another leaf powder called Arapu in, I think it's called Chigre powder in Kannada. That also can be used instead of the soap nuts. But it may not lather a lot, but it does clean. Now we will go, so any questions you may have, please keep it to the end. I will answer all of that. And now we will go into the bulk production of what we are trying to attempt. So through Pranapurna Collective, we are trying to integrate with the UN Sustainable Goals, not because it's a UN Sustainable Goals, but this is what means that our entire lifestyle can work with Earth's natural regeneration process. And today it is clogging most of its process of recycling the water through the natural filtration method. Instead of that, we're trying to see how we can start working towards with the Earth's natural process so that our burden on Earth can come down and our own ecosystem can support our species to thrive. And instead of trying to destroy the ecosystem. See, I think where we are headed today is Earth will be fine, but it is our ecosystem that can get disturbed. So that is where we are looking at how one is the environment, how it can be retained. Second is how can we take more people along? Because I think it's the economically weaker sections. They can't afford most of these products that we may make. It may become a niche products. So we are trying to see how we can include them and give them equitable access to some of these natural solutions. And that is part of our model. So 50% of the volume that we sell, 50% comes from the livelihood projects. That is one of our goals that we have put. And we pack it in reused containers so that we can enable the complete zero landfill. So whatever is happening today, the single-use plastic has to be completely eliminated from our consumption cycle. So both we collect the PET bottles, the soda bottles from the dry waste center and package it, as well as we reuse the wine bottles to pack it. So this contributes to a lot of the, you can look at sustainable cities where the wastewater can be sustainably managed and clean water can be obtained, where I think shortly in the future, groundwater contamination is another huge problem we need to really fix. So instead of spending a lot of money trying to find more technological solutions, we can look at the root, fixing it at the root cause itself. And one more big contribution for this is through the distributed production model. We have to look at locally producing it and consuming it. So we have already started working with different partners in the other cities. Mumbai has started off and Pune is just about to start. So we look at partners who will produce 90% of the material and 10% concentrate we will be sending. And they will only look at the local supply instead of shipping it across. So we plan to collaborate with multiple such partners in each cities. And this will be a 3-party collaboration where one of the local promoter is involved, because sales of these products is the most critical, what we realized. Production is the simplest process. Selling it and trying to get the industry to accept this as as performing as good as a chemical. So that is where Pranapurna Collective will focus on getting all the tests and the certifications into place. And currently we have the disinfectant certificates in place, all the cleaner, from a performance point of view, of course, it is the customers whom we have for last 2 years, most of the home users, and some businesses have also started procuring now, and they're very happy with the performance of the products and the cleaning. Of course, there is no bleach effect in this, but it cleans very well. So most of us have stopped buying bleached clothes because laundry, there is, unless you use a bleach detergent, there is no way you can get that white, shining whiteness. But yes, cleanliness and disinfection happens naturally. And please mute. Sorry. Yeah. So marketing is also collectively, we are marketing it, and we don't do any branding exercise, but we try to make our entire process visible. And we go currently, because of our do-it-yourself process, which workshops that we did initially, all over India, there are more than 50,000 people who are making this. And these are the people who are like our brand ambassadors, because they know that it works, the cleaning works. And this is now we are looking at industrial level production, where the industries can look at buying back in bulk. And this is the model we are trying to put into place. So we're looking at a licensed site in each city, and each of the licensed site will have multiple co-producers who are the local promoters who are responsible for the quality of the product and the consistent quality and the volumes being produced. And each one of this producer that you see here can be one livelihood project. So we are looking at creating this in each city, so we can have multiple such producers in each city, and buying back with a quality control in place. We have set the process already, and currently we already have tie-ups with 2 NGOs. Amog is one, Sahas is another one. We've started bulk production. For example, a 10 by 10 square feet, we can easily produce 1,500 liters per month. Less than a month, actually, 3 weeks is the turnaround time. And 2 juice shops is sufficient to produce 1,500 liters. In our experience, this is what we found. So in the absence of juice shops, for example, in the current lockdown situation, we are sourcing it from the fruit vendors as well as the bulk dealers of the fruits. So we are able to source all of that. And there is a cost involved, but the current costing covers the price of the raw material as well. So this is our handcrafted livelihood generating distributed production model we are putting into place. Currently, it is live in Bangalore, and Mumbai has just started off with the promotion only. And once they hit about 250 liters per month of sale, then we plan to do a local NGO tie-up and start the production. So in our experience, what we realized also, production is the least of the problem. Very easily we can scale up. But it is the selling and it is the marketing of these products that we need to focus on. And that's where we are looking at tying up with multiple large brands. And instead of going the route of a distributor or retailer, where almost 40% of the product cost has to be given away to the retail entire distribution network, we are looking at whether the producers themselves can market the product. So each one of them already procure either the toilet cleaners or the disinfectants for their own homes. So if they were to sell it to their neighbors, it will be very cheap for anyone. And that is at the cost of buying a soap oil or a acid, which most of them use today. This can be sold at that price. So that can replace for the economically weaker sections. So when we blend it with the essential oils and make it available for the upmarket, so that is also, we are planning to price it on par with the chemical cleaners. Today, it is a little higher than that, but we are getting with the bulk production, the prices will come down shortly. So since this is a zero heat manufacturing process and handmade process, the scale up is possible very rapidly. So thank you. That is the end of my presentation. We are open for questions now.
Good evening, Smita. This is Rajiv Bhatia from Bangalore Whitefield Central. Very, very encouraging and very nice. I wish you all the best in your venture.
Thank you.
I am from North India, and the soap nuts in North India are called Rita.
Yes.
Rita. So as children, we had all our shampoos, everything, but then slowly everything converted into chemicals. So now what we are doing is back to basics, back to nature, back to childhood for us.
Yes.
I have two questions from you.
Yes.
In COVID time, we are buying everything online. So are your products available on Amazon or Big Basket or any other way this can be procured? The second question is, price-wise, how do they compare with their chemical counterparts?
Yes, Mr. Bhatia. Thank you for the questions. Yes, we have our own website for sale. We had listed on Amazon. We had to delist it because it was not making any monetary sense to us. Yes, now as compared to the chemicals, the pricing of a 750 ml bottle is a little higher, but our 5-liter can is on par with the chemical disinfectants, and in some places it is cheaper also.
Thank you. Thanks. So from your site we can buy?
Yes, we have our own pranapurna.com. We have the website.
Yeah, that
And we
was
ship it all over India, and currently we are operating it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Smita, for a wonderful presentation. I think as our membership committee chair, Rajiv ji, has mentioned, I think this is something which is close to everybody's heart. We want to really save our skin. As simple as that.
Thank you, Mr. Kabre. Yes.
In good terms, yeah. So, Smita, would you like to do the moderation of the questions? There are a lot of questions in the chat box.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll do that. No, he's talking about the other Smita.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so an alternate, sorry, I think you already answered the chigre pudi part of it, no? Would you like to just repeat it once?
Yeah. How to use it? What is the question?
Sorry, 1 second. Or
okay, that is called Albizia amara in English, and that's a leaf from a tree. So these trees are abundantly available all over India, and in Kannada it's called chigre powder, and in Tamil it's called arapu. I'm not sure about the north, but these trees, the powder of that is already available. So most of the shops sell it along with your shigakai powder. So that 10 to 25% with your wood ash, it can be added as your dishwash powder or to clean any steel ceramic surface.
sorry, alternate to sanitizer with alcohol. What?
No. This is for your dishwash.
No, I understood. I'm moved on to the next question. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
alternate to sanitizer with alcohol. Which organs of child get affected by alcohol-based sanitizer?
See, I don't know the organ level, but within 1 minute, the alcohol gets into the bloodstream, and they have found it in the urine also. So it has led to a lot of complications for the internal organs. And we don't need alcohol. See, these sanitizers were developed for high sterile zones, like the surgical centers, where they really needed to kill all. So we really need to look at how can we avoid. It was never meant to be used where humans were around and a long-term use. So we don't really need anything killing. So for example, currently, I think the coronavirus is in the air, right? The spores. So by using a surfactant and cleaning your hands is not really worth it. And you can wash with soap and water is a better option. And the bioenzyme that you make, you can make a 10% solution of it and wash your hands with water. Anything evaporating is not a good idea.
Thanks, Smita. And also regarding bacteria, no, we are like have this huge phobia. There are 99% bacteria are good bacteria. We know in the whole scenario of this antibacterial thing, we end up killing most of the bacteria when only 1% is the one that's causing the harm.
Yes.
So Mr. Shankar Rao is asking, what's the flip side of soap nut and chigre powder? Can it clog drains because of powder sedimentation?
It needs to be filtered and used. The dishwash powder is sieved very finely. So we have been using it for almost 4 years at home. There hasn't been any clogging problem. In fact, the normal clogging that happens because of the grease is also not there, because I think the wood ash keeps it clear. That is part of the wood ash. Then soap nuts, when you use, please filter it and use. And the leftover peels, you can reuse it 2 to 3 times and then put it into your compost. Don't let it into the sewage there.
So from the district team, Rotarian Radhakrishna sir is asking that Rotary districts and clubs can consider setting up women self-help groups to undertake preparation of natural cleaners and supply it to Pranapurna. He's asking how to take it forward.
Yeah, we get into agreements. There are livelihood projects. We expect a commitment of 10 by 10 square feet for around 10 women. They can earn up to 30,000 per month. And we will also look at how they can start bottling it and marketing it locally.
Nice. And unlike other sewing projects and all, it does not require any infrastructure. Just
it's a cool dark place.
Huge drums and citrus waste. Like she said, 2 juice shops ka waste. In fact, they might pay you to clear their waste.
Yeah, there is one more important point here. We use only the black jaggery now because that has more microbes in it. Unbleached black jaggery, which is naturally farmed, we will source that. So then the enzyme smell comes out the best.
Nice. Yeah, actually, you have bottled it in wine bottles and all. I put it in this regular transparent bottle. It looks like orange juice. Sometimes people might drink it by mistake.
No problem. It's edible. So actually, you can do the same enzyme process with edible fruits, and that becomes your edible enzyme. It increases your gut bacteria automatically. These are the probiotics that are being sold to us, which you can make it yourself at home.
Awesome. Yeah, I know for all of us who have heard horror stories of children drinking phenyl, drinking toilet cleaners by mistake, or even on purpose and other things, this completely eliminates that scenario itself.
Yeah.
They just become healthier.
Smita, I have a question. Shall I ask?
Yes,
sure, Divya ma'am.
Yeah, this is like I'm from 3190 Rotary from Kanakpura. I am the director of vocational training. Can we able to set up a training center for women's in the local area, like in the villages? And can you able to come and teach them how to do it at once?
Yes, definitely. Only thing is you have to make sure the citrus source is available. Either there is a farm which grows plenty of fruits, so we can look at the grade B or a grade C fruit. Or second, if a local town is nearby, if they can go source it from the local town, from the juice shops. Yes, it's possible to set it up. Otherwise, rural areas is a bit difficult if citrus peels are not available. we'll have to look at the wood ash based products or the soap nut based products.
Abhi mango season hai na? I think you can make mango cleaners also.
No, citrus has more antibacterial property, and it can stain. Mango can stain. You can use it for your plants. It makes excellent enzyme for your fruiting and flowering, but not for cleaning.
Okay.
It can easily stain, so you have to be careful.
Sorry, Smita, can you drop in your email ID in the chat box? People asking for it.
Yes.
Also, Rajaram sir is asking, does it remove scaling from bathroom floors?
The wood ash does, yes.
Even bioenzyme. So it's just
bioenzyme is will do it on an ongoing basis, but initially you may need more of vinegar to remove it, and wood ash can be used like a scrub.
Okay, bathroom scrub. I use it on the greases for the chimneys and all that, undiluted, and it goes very nicely.
Yes.
It doesn't have the jhag, so my maid doesn't like it because there's no lather.
Yeah, exactly. So their assumption that lather is required, fragrance is required for cleaning, I think that those two assumptions, who set it for us, we have to rethink. It is all these advertisements, right?
On Unilever, yeah. Okay. How can bioenzyme be used for washing clothes?
So for example, I use it. We have 2 puppies at home right now. It works amazing as odor control. So you use it in combination with the soap nuts, 1 cup of soap nut liquid with 1 cup of bioenzyme. 50 ml is sufficient for a load of 5 kg clothes. It has to be diluted and used, not in the strong form.
Right.
And it helps with complete odor control, especially in the monsoon weather now. There is no odor to the clothes after it dries.
And also the water that is, the dirty water after washing, whatever remains, that can be used for plants, right?
Yes, it can completely go into the soil.
And it is completely safe for the water bodies. In fact, it will nourish. So all
Yes.
the Belandur Lake frothing and Vartur Lake frothing, we are the ones who are putting Lysols and Harpics and
Yeah. And in fact, there are 2 points to be noted here. If you are using any biodegradable cleaners, that has to hit the soil for it to biodegrade. I'm talking about all the synthetic eco-friendly cleaners which talk about biodegradability. If it remains in the water bodies, it doesn't biodegrade.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So a lot of the surfactants being used which claim to be biodegradable will not happen if it doesn't enter the soil. So we have to really look at how to cut down the sewage water, the water leaving the city.
Yeah. Do you have a washing machine version of the detergent?
Yes, yes. The laundry detergent that we make is for the washing machine. You can also make it yourself. 100 ml is what with the combination that I suggested. 100 ml is enough for a 5 kg load, but you have to filter it and make sure there is no sediment in it.
Our ancestors, when come from outside, first we have to wash our feet and hands and face, and then only we were allowed inside the home. Can you highlight? I mean, I think he's asking, is it a good practice?
Yes, definitely. There are 2 things about water. Actually, I didn't cover it here. Water has memory. And this, if you can look at Dr. Masaru Emoto's examples, he's a physicist in Japan, and he's actually proven with microscopic photographs of water being frozen after words are being spoken to it. There are words with different feelings and prayers. So you can check it up, and you actually proves that the crystalline formations, the beautiful formations, happen when there is a nice word being said, where with anger or with other negative emotions, the formations are haywire. So if you look at the entire water, right, all of the water on earth goes through the cycle. Whatever enters our body comes back, and it is completely interconnected with all the water on earth. So you washing it before you enter the home, water can actually cleanse you. Just plain water is also sufficient. It changes the energy vibrations. Yes.
Beautiful. It's just like the Frozen 2 movie, water has memory.
Yes. That is the movie I was referring to. Yes.
Oh, nice. So Dr. Bindu is here from Ahmednagar. Thank you for joining. A lot of love coming your way, Smita.
Thank you.
I'm not telling all of it, but A lot of people liked what you have shared. So I think that's all. All the questions are over.
Smita,
Yes,
Yeah,
can
Lily.
you display your phone number?
Yes, put it
Yeah,
on the chat
I
box.
put it in the chat box. Yes.
She has put it in the chat box, her email ID and her phone number. Smita Pranapurna is her ID.
And somebody can get in touch with us in case they are unable to connect. We will help them to,
Yes.
through your president or through your club, you can connect to us, and we can help you get connected. Smita, can we request Dr. Radhakrishna to briefly talk about his reflections?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Great presentation, Smita.
Thank you.
I think this is one of the, I think this is 17th session that we are having. One of the beautiful session. Very, I mean, you brought out a lot of things. I mean, you spoke about circular economy, how actually this kind of practice will help strengthen the circular economy. I think we all should be doing and practicing these kind of things. Our whole focus of Jnana Vaividya is to find from different angles how actually we can work out these things. We had one more similar kind of presentation earlier on solar energy. In fact, that actually moved into forming a team of dedicated people who volunteer to reduce their power consumption. And two of the self-help group is getting formed now, who are going to manufacture solar appliances by assembling the components.
Very
So that's
nice.
what we are trying to do through Jnana Vaividya, not just for knowledge sake. We want to convert knowledge into green entrepreneurship. That's what we are trying to do and help the community.
That's fantastic, Mr. Radhakrishnan.
you.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Right.
Yes. Great.
Yeah, so like he said, Smita, we would want to connect with you. I think this seems to be a wonderful project, because the one thing which I could carry from your presentation is that the production is very easy.
Yes.
And the problem is sales or marketing. And having spent 2.5 decades in sales and marketing, I can tell you selling is very easy. The main problem is production.
Okay, we'll solve the production problem. Why don't we? Yes, perfect.
So if that be the case, I can assure you that we can sell whatever quantities you want. So I think there is a very, very great possibility of a synergy between the two organizations.
Manoj, you should come into our sales and marketing team for Grama Lakshmi.
Certainly. We can do that. So let's
Thank you, Mr. Kapre. That's awesome.
Whitefield is like putting so much chemicals down Varthur Lake and downstream Belandur. So we really need.
Yeah. So the next project I think we should do in terms of whether it is Grama Lakshmi model or some model of this particular Pranapurna in Whitefield. I think that is something we should focus on.
Yes.
Great. So can
Thank
we
you,
move on?
Mr. Kapre.
Thank you so much. Can we move on?
So Rajiv sir, you can unmute and kindly introduce the chief guest.
Yeah, it is a great honor and pleasure welcoming Rotarian Ramesh Shivanna. An engineer and an MBA, Rotarian Ramesh is a solar PV expert and promotes green energy as sustainable energy to the world as a social concern. Ramesh carries a vast experience in power and specializes in solar energy as developer and project management. He has developed multiple solar parks for the power generation. Ramesh identifies investments for green energy space and also works with many private equity funds on advisory capacity, in an advisory capacity. He is an expert committee member to advise in international solar alliances. He was a vision group member in the solar manufacturing cluster in the government of Karnataka. He also runs an NGO called Chronic Foundation with focus areas like rural education, environment, and health. Rightly so, he has won many awards and honors. He got the National Award in 2007 for the Best Entrepreneur for recognition in state from MSME Government of India. It was received in presence of His Excellency Dr. Manmohan Singh. He also got an award of the Great Son of Soil International Award received from His Excellency Son Anirudh Jagannath, President Republic of Mauritius. That was in 2009. He also got award, the Great Son of Karnataka award received from His Excellency HR Governor, Government of Karnataka in 2010, and he has got awards. He has received very many awards from state, national and international, as national and international recognition for his contribution to the society, and rightly deserved awards. Welcome, Rotarian Ramesh Shivanna. Welcome to the show. And he will now, I think, give an award for vocational excellence to Smita, who has performed very well. I mean, you really need an award for super excellence. You've taught us some very nice things, Smita. Thank you. Thanks. Welcome, Rotarian Ramesh Shivanna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. It's my privilege to be here in such a wonderful program, this Nana Vaividya series. So, also, it is organized by this Whitefield Central, and I'm also grateful to Rotarian Radhakrishna for referring me, and also my co-president Rotarian Manoj, and of course I know Smita Kulkarni now. She's a part of our district team next year, and where I'm also environmental director for the district committee. And this Gnana Vaividya program is a wonderful program. In fact, I did attend last program, which Dr. Meenakshi spoke wonderfully. It's very informative. And in fact, such subjects will not be available outside for the youngsters. So, and even today, the Smita Kamath, the subject what she spoke is wonderful and very highly informative. And in fact, for me, it is a lot of learning. How to bring down this chemical footprints in our daily life. In fact, I do work on more on how to bring down carbon footprints. So we organize a lot of events on that to create awareness on climate change, global warming, and how to bring down the carbon footprints. And we have done a lot of programs on nationally, internationally, and initially. When the solar inception was there, that time, in fact, I had an opportunity to be a part of this policy making with the government, and we have created a wonderful policy which came out. The Karnataka policy was the first policy which came out in India, and the policy was such a good policy. And I think you can see now today, Karnataka is one of the leading solar installed in the country. So. Here, one thing actually we observe here, the bringing down the carbon footprint, or bringing down this chemical footprint, or bringing down even the plastic footprints, which we are all speaking. See, these sort of things, what we see is something in the name of development, which now we are not talking anything new. We are all trying to speak something old. We had a practices, ecosystem practices. We are talking the same thing, to go back to the same thing. We are not nothing new concept, new idea, new technology. We are trying to speak for all of you. But in the name of development, in the name of this modernization, in the name of this industrialization and this economic development, we all of us moved out of this environmental better practices. So now only thing what is required is actually we all have to go back to our own ancestor environmental practices what we had. We have to go back on that. So I always keep saying that, see, this economy should be led by ecology, and economy should not be at the cost of this economy should not be at the cost of ecology. This is what I keep saying. See, this one statement, if everyone, all of us understand, and even our youngsters understand, I'm sure none of us will make any sort of practices which actually damages our environment. So I think all of us know that even in agriculture, we started using so much chemical, and so one point of time, actually all the the agricultural cultivation is in chemical fertilizers. But today, again, we are talking about this organic and we're going back. And many of you know, actually, people who are more than 45 to 50 years age, in the childhood, in fact, for me, my personal experience, at least up to the age of 5 or 6 years, we all ate only organic foods. Those days, I think chemical was not there. We have never used, we are in villages, we never seen that actually those people are using chemical fertilizers in those days. But today, this is as a new technology we are talking. It's not that new technology where everybody is asking to go back to our own old practices. So it's required, such a knowledge is required and such awareness is required in all area of environment which is damaging that. It is wonderful today. And with this, I thank all of you for giving this an opportunity. And it's a time for today to honor today's speaker, Smita Kamath. So can you just move on to, not be able to read. I think I'll just take up this. I think she has sent the copy of that. Yeah. So Rotary District 3190 and Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central jointly bestow Rotary Vocational Excellence Award to Smita Kamath, founding director of Pranapurna Collective. Pranapurna Collective, in a recognition of excellence achieved in our chosen field of vocation and contributing to the good of the society for Gnana Vaividya second series, Vocational Diversity Speaker Series, presented by Rotarian Ramesh Shivanna, President Rotary Bangalore Green Park and Chairman PV on 9th June 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh. Yes.
The award is in your inbox, Smita.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kavre. Yes.
So thank you so much, Shivanna sir. I think your thoughts were very impressive, and I'm sure there is a lot we can do together with respect to the ecology perspective that you spoke about. So thank you so much.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that brings us to a whole load of more thanks that we owe for this session. So we'll start with the speaker, Ms. Smita Kamath, for a wonderful enlightenment that you have given. It was almost like a chemical, chemistry class, demystified for all of us. So thank you so much, ma'am, for that. Next, would like to thank our chief guest, Rotarian Ramesh Shivanna, for gracing us with his presence and presenting the Vocational Excellence Award. Thanks to our 12 guest clubs and all their members who attended today, starting from Rotary Bhiwadi Shakti, Rotary Bangalore Kanakpura Road, Rotary Bangalore Udyog, Rotary Bangalore Abhigere, Rotaract Shishu Mandir, Rotary Omega, Rotary Coimbatore Midtown, Rotary Madras Temple City, Rotary Bangalore Green Park, Rotary Orion ASC Degree College, Rotary Ahmednagar Priyadarshini, and Rotary Bangalore Downtown. Thanks to Rotarian Dr. P.M. Radhakrishna for being our guide, mentor for the entire program that is Gnana Vaividya, both the seasons, version 1 and 2. Thanks to our president, Manoj Kavre, for stitching all these things together and making it as lively as you always do. Thanks to Rotarian Smita for introducing the other Smita and the speaker and getting us all these wonderful talks to us. Thanks to Rotarian Rajiv Bhatia sir for a wonderful introduction that you gave for our chief guest. Thanks to Rotarian Rajaram, who's not present today. He's a director of vocational services, RBWC, and the man behind this show. Thank you so much, Rotarian Rajaram. You will get the recording to get this thanks. And lastly, thanks to all the 135. At some point, I saw 135 participants, some of them not there. Thanks to all of you for making this session a great one. Before we part, here's a glimpse of the upcoming next 2 sessions that we have as part of Gnana Vaividya Season 2. On June 16th, we have Rashmi Kapse, who's going to talk about success and sailing through life's journey with success. She's a business coach who will help us define success, meet goals, and more importantly, balancing our health and relationship. And June 23rd, we have something by Rahul Vishwanath, talking about beyond social challenges. He is going to talk about how he's going to how to create an inclusive world with his examples of his own stories. So we hope to see all of you and much more people in these sessions that's going to come up today. Thank you so much and have a great evening, all of you.
Thank you so much, Shekhar, and thank you, Rashmi Kapse, for joining. I see you there as one of the participants. So thank you so much for joining. Sukita has raised a hand.
No, sir.
Okay, great. So thank you once again, one and all.
Thank you, Manojji. Thank you.
No problem. I think we have saved about 10 minutes today. That's a good saving of time, which can help us to discover something else.
Thank you all very much for having me on your platform, and warm appreciation for all this. Thank you. Look forward to collaborating with all
Yes,
of you.
definitely. We should.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Thank you, Smita. Bye.
Thank you, Smith. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Manoj.
Thank you.
And everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording, Shekhar.